Mega Man 3 takes up an interesting position within the Mega Man series. Debate over its superiority to its immediate predecessor Mega Man 2 is considered more or less akin to the Super Mario Bros. 3 versus Super Mario World debate, or Chinese food versus pizza. Both are amazing, so it really comes down to taste, right? But what's curious here is that while Mega Man 2 had a few niggling flaws here and there, Mega Man 3 has more overtly substantial issues, with most of it stemming from one particular problem. The game was rushed out the door faster than Sonic the Hedgehog, or any game associated with him. Rough difficulty needles, or spikes, questionable weapon balancing, hit detection issues, and an underwhelming endgame are frequently attributed to the game, even by those who love it. Heck, even Serious Papa Keiji Inafune said it was one of his least enjoyable development experiences. So what's the deal with Mega Man 3? Did Capcom secretly dispatch Shadow Man to sneak into the homes of players and threaten them into praising the game on release? Or are the flaws over-exaggerated, and is there really something special about this game and the vibes it brings, which ultimately overcomes any flaws? Well, come Slither and let's find out. Rather than a cool, upbeat introduction sequence, we're greeted with a plain old title screen with some pretty serious music, at least to start. What starts off as jazzy blues picks up steam to become a rousing, hopeful rallying cry to fight for everlasting peace. It's a fantastic theme, and its mixture of the series' trademark catchy rock with more somber undertones goes on to define the music and theming of the entire game. Speaking of which, let's go meet Les Mis for this game. Wait, what's this? Let's just ignore that graphical hiccup. Anyways, Snake Man? Probably bit somebody. Needle Man? Drug abuser. Top Man? Attacks kids with toys, most likely. Shadow Man looks cool, but if they manage to capture a picture of him, he can't be a very good ninja now, can he? And... Hard Man? Lump him in with perps like Flash Man. As for which of these villains we'll face first, I'm feeling good about Top Man. After all, somebody who solely attacks children can't be too much of a threat, right? Ooh, that's some rockin' music. And look at that, Mega Man can slip and slide now. How he doesn't get back problems doing that, I don't know, but I'll attribute that to his non-humanoid nature. With our newfound speediness, we easily slip past robo-grasshoppers and giant nuts before facing a cat with fleas? Well, okay. To counterbalance this fiendish feline, we brought our own faithful Robo-Pup with us this time around, and he's got a bone to pick with Wily. He basically replaces the generic traversal items from previous games and gives them some extra personality. We're in some weird glass garden, but at least there's some top enemies and a platforming section with giant spinning tops to remind us who we're up against. Speaking of, the wicked toy maker takes a break from beating kids to beat us instead, but using the old slip and slide technique, we easily escape his weakly little flying tops and skating trickery. I like how the bosses here demand that you get good with your newfound nobility, as the speediness really adds to the fun and intensity of the encounters. But we break this top without too much hassle, and nab his weapon, the top spin. On to the next robot master. Let's see. A spinning top might scare snakes. They're both on the ground, so I don't know. Maybe? Ninjas though? Ooh, they start off their rigorous training like 3 days after they're born, so they've probably never even touched a toy and don't know what to do with them. Let's go with Shadow Man then. Whoa, this red-watered sewer is totally tubular. Did Capcom just not want to get complaints from parents for showing actual poopy brown sewers in a kid's game? Come to think of it, a ninja living in the sewers? This has got to be some kind of Ninja Turtles reference. Anyways, Teenage Pootin Ninja Robot has a pretty neat home, grasshopper infestation aside. Suddenly, the mysterious Proto-Man farts his iconic blues and warps down to confront us, but after blasting his Halpenheini, we continue our descent. There's a neat blackout hallway followed by a fun section cowabungan over red Robo-Caca while top spinning these paratroopers out of existence. It's ninja time! Shadow Man must have taken slide training in the same class as Mega Man, but this dude clearly graduated as valedictorian. This guy always gives me trouble, mostly because I can never guess if he's going to slide or throw his shuriken at me. But fortunately, the sheer madness of our playful spinning triggers his vertigo, putting him out of commission. We swipe his Shadow Blade before the ambulance takes him away, and Dr. Light, gives us the Rush Marine once we return home, which we'll use later. Shadow Man's cool-looking darts of death look like they could take on any one of these guys, but I really don't like the way Needle Man is looking at me, so I'm gonna cut him down to size and serve him up as humble pie. Neat-looking city place with not Sonic the Hedgehog. Lots of enemies here, including a bunch of Metwas and Dragonflies. What the heck is it with bug infestations in this game? But with our useful Spinny Jump and Metal Blade clone, we make pretty short work of them. The music here is great again, and I admire its more melodic and complex tunes compared to its predecessor. Ah, needles! Right, because Needle Man. Makes sense. I like how you have to use the slide's extra mobility to clear them safely. But the Robot Master himself is another tough one. He's quick, shoots multiple projectiles in rapid succession, and gives you a pointy proctology exam if you get too close, making 2 blue bosses that are a real pain in the butt, quite literally. But the Metal Blade sequel lives up to its predecessor and does a solid job besting the blue bully. We plucked the needle cannon from this prickly cactus after chopping him down, and Dr. Light took even more of his sweet time to upgrade Rush with a jet option. What an industrious old fart. Who would be particularly vulnerable to needles? Gemini Man looks spiky, so that's a no. Spike sounds a lot like Spark. No, that's just stupid. But snakes actually do try to avoid spiky or rough terrain in real life, so Snake Man seems like a good choice. We warp straight into a wild, snaky wonderland. Credit to the devs for conjuring up such unique terrain. Fantastic music as well, and appropriately lots of snakes both large and small to deal with. But we spin, slice, and poke our way through the onslaught of foes both slithery and otherwise, and eventually climb to the top of a tower, narrowly avoiding Bullet Bill's cloudy cousins using our awesome new Rush Jet. Also, we can meet up with that snake of a man. Snake Man! His continuous movement and slithery minions might seem intimidating at first, but he's actually got a pretty readable pattern, making him one of the more straightforward encounters in the game. But if you're struggling, feel free to poke him in the eye with your needle cannon, and you'll dice him up in no time. Fortunately, his sneaky henchmen wisely swear allegiance to us afterwards. As for who might suffer ophidiophobia, Hardman's got his own snake to deal with already. Gemini Man? Well, Gemini is a star sign, and the snake is a zodiac sign, so maybe the snake star beats the Gemini constellation? Bit of a stretch maybe, but it's worth a shot. Right off the bat, Gemini Man's stage bears a striking resemblance to Flashman's Crystal Cave, with an abundance of flashy Gemini-looking terrain. After dealing with some annoying fire-pooping eyeballs and egg-popping penguins, Proto Man appears to challenge us again. Or not. Guess he learned his lesson. Afterwards, we genocide our way through another infestation, a bunch of weird fish eggs that hatch naughty-looking offspring. With water levels rising, now's a good time to go swimming with the Rush Marine, and we doggy paddle through fishy, dragonfly-infested waters to grab some aquatic goodies. Gemini Man starts off his fight by splitting into twins. Such a Gemini thing to do. They continuously run and jump around you, which is pretty easy to avoid, but the trick is finding a good time to attack, cause unlike the cops, he'll only shoot when you do. After draining half his health bar, one of the twins bites the dust, and the remaining one runs back and forth across the room, shooting his bouncy beam at you. It's a very unique and versatile encounter where your actions dictate the pace of the fight, and I love it. After dispatching the other twin, we snatch his Gemini laser and spelunk our way out. Let's see. Sparkman, Naughty Man, and Magnet Man. Well, if the Shadow Blade is anything like the Metal Blade, it'll work pretty well against most bosses. But what's the opposite of a shadow? Light. And a spark causes light. So let's have a classic face-off of light against darkness and go with Sparkman. We make our way through an iconic industrial facility with plenty of electricity, zappy robots, magnetic thingies that bring you to your doom, and scrap metal disposal. The music here is phenomenal, bringing a somber intensity to your descent through the facility, and the Shadow Blade and Gemini laser work well in dispatching foes throughout. Sparkman himself is a decent fight, but not too much of a threat. Even if you suck at avoiding his thunderbolts like I do, he goes down pretty quickly to your lemon pellets, and even faster to the Metal Blade, leaving the spark shock for us. Shocking! Between our two remaining contestants, I imagined that electricity would mess up magnetic poles more than Hardman's pole, so Magnet Man is up next. This beautiful, soulful music. This particular track may be my favorite piece of the entire series, Dead Stop. As you might expect, there's plenty of magnet-related stuff in this level, from magnets that suck you up to magnets that suck you sideways, alongside some Yoku block puzzles, of course. I love sending my little snaky minions to climb surfaces and do my dirty work for me. Just look at the little guys go. Magnet Man himself isn't too bad. He hops around, shoots tracking missiles, and tries sucking you. But his attacks aren't too difficult to dodge, and a couple of spark shocks zaps his magnetic booty straight to the North Pole, dropping his attractive magnet missiles in the process. That just leaves this naughty lad for us to confront, so let's go deal with Dirty Dan. A desert construction area. That's neat. You can use the needle cannon to wipe out these bumbling bees, or just do that instead. Snapping Crocs, Curious George's violent cousins, and other enemies litter the area, and Proto-Man returns for another knuckle sandwich, but there's nothing too crazy here overall. Not gonna lie, Hardman is pretty big up close. Wait, no, not in that way. But of course his main attack is groping me with his dirty hands, trying to hold me still so he can smash me with his massive body. Unfortunately, I used up all my magnet missiles beforehand, so I had to bust him the old-fashioned way using my tiny pea shooter. It might be small, but it's effective. Even after dispatching him to heck for his sins, his wicked hard knuckles stay behind for us to use. I guess that means I'm Dirty Dan! Now that we've finished all the robot masters, it's time to face Dr. Wait, what is this? More robots to face in the stages we already beat? Question mark? Huh. It looks like they've remixed some of these stages, using the existing environments, enemies, and gimmicks to produce a greater challenge. And a new boss, Doc Robot, getting possessed by a ghost of Flashman's dirty past? Right after finishing Hardman 2! His hitbox is pretty unforgiving, so don't feel shy about using weakness weapons to dispatch him. Given that Gemini Man's stage gives off Flashman vibes, it's fitting we face him here. Unfortunately, some moron neglected their plumbing and the pipes bust, filling the gym-littered terrain with some particularly wet H2O. Of course, another buggy infestation crops up, but our snake brethren eagerly devour them. And finally, we face off against Bubble Man! Flashman in a gym-filled stage, and Bubble Man in a wet level. Really good theming. And like in Mega Man 2, the blade weapon slices him up quickly. Spark Shock works great too, because electricity and water. And with that, we've exorcised 2 of Mega Man 2's haunting robot spirits. And I like that, cause I won't go into detail on the rest of Doc Robot's stages, because they all follow the same formula. Go through a more challenging version of the Robot Master stage you select, face 2 appropriately themed robot bosses from Mega Man 2, and even see some elements from those games added into the levels, like the moving belts from Metal Man's factory, or a Dark Night Sky from Crash Man's late-level tower climb. Aside from getting my rectum impaled in Needle Man's stage, and the annoyingly cheap hitboxes for Doc Robot, I actually really enjoy these stages. I know some people find them overly difficult or even a blatant case of asset reuse for padding. But let's be real here. This is pretty much the same formula of Wily Fortress levels. Take existing level elements, bosses, and enemies, then mix, match, and combine them for a greater challenge. So I really don't get the beef people have with this section of the game. Speaking of Wily's Fortress though, we finally get to... Oh, wait, another boss to face? Oh, break, man. Alright, Inspector Clouseau, I see through that dollar store disguise. Proto-Man really just needs his butt kicked one last time. Unfortunately, while we were out there breaking bad old Wily Coyote took advantage of the situation to nab some energy elements that we had been collecting, and ran off with the massive peacekeeping robot, Gamma, that he and Dr. Like were working on together. Light's IQ can't be that high if you really trusted that guy after his last 2 murderous world domination schemes. Though it's kinda weird that there's no intro scene to explain the story, and we just have a mid-game cutscene like this. But now we can finally raid his fortress to music that gets cut off. That's kinda unpolished, but okay. In the first fortress level, we sneak through the sewers of the area, taking advantage of the Rush Marine to fight off more evil penguins. Imagine if we ended up coming out of Wily's toilet as he was using it. Then I wouldn't be the only one here getting an examination. Besides a few enemies here and there, it's surprisingly peaceful, with a bunch of goodies ripe for the plucking with our naughty hand. It feels like the calm before the storm. But then we face our great nemesis, the non-ninja turtles. They go down really quickly though, and it feels like it should have been a greater challenge. Honestly, the Wily Fortress goes by in a bit of a blur, awesomely melodramatic music aside. We see a few elements from previous stages return, like Killer Crocs and the Dark Room gimmick, but it's all really short and easy compared to what we've already seen, with pickups galore. And I think the Doc Robot stages did a better job at remixing the assets in more challenging ways. But I like the fight against myself. Take that, me! And the second version of the Yellower Devil, which sounds kinda racist now that I think about it. Plus these rooms with the moving platforms and spikes are fun and unique. But before you know it, it's boss rematch time in Wily's creepy basement, and it's pretty quick work using weakness weapons or the Shadow Blade. Then we face off against old Wily Coyote himself in a giant snail crab eyeball machine? Man, this guy's got too much time on his hands. Nothing too crazy here though, just avoid his slow-moving booty and occasional projectiles, then grope him with your naughty hands, and he's toast. Unfortunately, he tricks us with a Wily in the box and escapes to the massive Gamma robot he stole earlier. Only a select few weapons can damage him, including the Shadow Blade, Search Snake, and the mighty Topspin. An easy fight all things considered. While Willy is doing his whole "have mercy" act, the place falls apart, rendering both parties unconscious. Fortunately, Proto-Man shows up for the scoop, but misses Wily, who should reasonably be dead under all that rubble. Megaman wakes up safely in Light's lab to the tune of Proto-Man's somber whistle, and goes outside to find him. While searching outside, the entire cast of robots created by Dr. Light is shown, including the Megaman 1 Robot Masters, then Roll, the housekeeping robot, which definitely isn't sexist, followed by Megaman himself, and finally Proto-Man, an android created prior to Megaman who's none other than his lost brother. Not sure how robot genetics work, or why he's trying to beat up his kin, but I'll buy it. The game ends on a melancholic note as Rock looks up, thinking about his brother. Mega Man 3 isn't a perfect game. There are some issues with polish and balance throughout, and these issues get more prominent the further along you get. I personally enjoy the Doc Robot stages, but his overlarge hitbox does make the bosses more of a pain than they should be. Then the Wily Fortress is pretty underwhelming. It's not overtly offensive or anything, but it's short, easy, and lacks much real meat on its bones aside from the bosses, and you can really feel the rushed development at this point. Even so, I always love my time with the game. Like its predecessor, it has phenomenal music and level design, weapons are good, bosses are mostly great, and the slide adds a thrilling sense of speed to the game. Plus the Doc Robot stages extend the length of the game while maintaining the flexible non-linear level selection. More importantly though, this is the game where Mega Man became a saga. Mega Man 3 features numerous in-game cutscenes that tell a unique story while connecting the first three games together, giving a greater sense of weight to the characters and lore in this universe. And I'll always appreciate it for that. While I do think its distinct melancholic vibe sometimes veers a little too dark for the fairly lighthearted series, I still appreciate Mega Man 3 for its unique identity and the sense of unity it provided for the franchise. It's a great game, however highly you might personally rank it. Now that I'm finished with the OG NES trilogy, I'm going to take a break to focus on some other games. Before too long, I'll return to the series to go through the NES sequel trilogy, comprising Mega Man's 4, 5, and 6. But until then, I really appreciate the views and support to this series, and I hope you're looking forward to future content. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Thanks a plenty, and I'll see you later.